Hello, everybody. For this update, last night was by far the most action-packed night of this war. And this war mostly takes place at night. Right now, it's obviously the daytime. You can see the sunlight behind me. The daytime is totally normal. Life goes on as normal. And after I make this video, I'm going to go take the dog who's staying with me in this apartment out for a walk as normal. Stores are functioning as normal. Public transportation, if I had to guess, because I haven't gone out yet to look, and this war started on a weekend, okay, the Friday, just before the Sabbath, when public transportation is already dimming down in anticipation of the Sabbath. But today I'll get my first real look at the normalcy. How normal is everything running in terms of buses, trains, all that stuff. But everything looks normal because the war takes place at night, which makes last night's tragedy in Bat Yam all the more tragic. An apartment block taking a direct hit by a ballistic missile. There were also attacks in Haifa, the Galilee, but none of this death had to happen in Bat Yam's apartment complex. We were told hours in advance on the news to expect a major night of action exceeding the night before. So already it was out there in the air, okay, that it was going to be an action-filled night and that everybody should be alert to that fact. Then about maybe 2 hours, about 2 hours before the event started, I get a text message that's given to every single cellular phone in the country to be near a bomb shelter. Okay, it doesn't mean to be in the bomb shelter, but when they say to be near a bomb shelter, they mean to be in a building nearby a bomb shelter instead of being outside on the street, say, or far away from a shelter. So another stage of being alerted to what's about to happen. Then at about 1:30 last night, I get from the Homefront Command application that I downloaded, like everybody else in the country, from the App Store, in my case, the Apple Store, okay? And it warned me that it believes that in a few moments, air raid sirens are going to go off. In other words, they've detected a launch from Iran. From that point, and by the way, everybody in this part of the country got that. Everybody in Tel Aviv got it. Everybody in Bat Yam got it. Everybody in the area that I got it got the same warning. And from the moment we get that warning, we have about 15 minutes to get to the bomb shelter. And I was able to casually get out of bed. I was in a deep sleep. I sleep like a rock, by the way. I can sleep through explosions. I know this from my Army service. I could sleep through machine gun fire nearby. None of that phases me. So I was in a nice deep sleep, but at 1:30, my telephone, which is next to me, says basically you've got 15 minutes to get to a bomb shelter. It doesn't literally say you have 15 minutes, but I know you from the time I get that, I have 15 minutes to get to a bomb shelter. I casually get out of bed. I casually put on my shoes. I casually get dressed, and I casually walk down the steps with the neighbors who cohabit this building with me. We're all in good spirits. We're all light talking on the way down there. Some of us are, cracking some jokes. I go into the bomb shelter. There's 30 people sharing it with me. There's a kid on the floor making a puzzle of Batman and Superman, probably a puzzle that was just issued because the Superman movie is about to come out or has just come out. There's kids sleeping on mattresses in there. We're all in good spirits. And then 30 minutes later, I walk out to hear that a building in Bat Yam, a coastal city south of Tel Aviv, took a direct hit. And many people were killed and up to 200 people injured. And not a single one of those deaths or injuries was necessary. Because for the next few hours, as they cover that story nonstop on the local news here, which is why I didn't sleep well after this event. Normally I go back to sleep But I was interested in the story. I was drawn to the story. How did people get killed and injured with all the warnings that we have and with the bomb shelters that we have? The truth is that the people that were killed, and they said even the people were injured, were people who basically didn't go to their bomb shelter. You see, there's different tiers of protection here that in Israel. Okay, most of the buildings, most of them overwhelmingly have bomb shelters in the basement level of the building. These are heavily reinforced rooms. They look like World War II bunkers. And maybe later I'll take a video clip of one here in this building just to show you what they look like. If you can't access that, the newer apartment buildings have a reinforced room within their apartment, which is like the second best thing to go to if you can't get to a shelter, or bunker beneath the building. And what we learned yesterday is that this whole issue of the shelters is the great divide. Those that went to the bomb shelters at the bottom of their buildings, their lives were spared and they were unscathed. They weren't even injured like those of us who were in the bomb shelter here in this building. But those that did not go to the bomb shelters were the ones who were killed and most seriously injured, and the people that went to the reinforced rooms in their apartments, that sort of go-between, for lack of a better word, it's sort of like a purgatory, although I'm not trying to be confusing here theologically, but you know what I mean. It's sort of like between not going to the bomb shelter and going to the bomb shelter is that reinforced room in the middle. We'll call it the purgatory, okay? And those that went to it, well, some of them were injured. I think some of them got smoke. What do you call it? Smoke inhalation. But they weren't as seriously injured as the people that didn't go to either that room or to the bomb shelter. But the story of the night is that those that went to the bomb shelter weren't just not killed. They weren't even scathed. And therefore, while Iran murdered all these people last night, I can't help but think that they played an irresponsible part in their own deaths, not only causing their families now to be bereaved, but handing Iran a victory that it's been seeking since this war began, because Israel has been dominating Iran in every way since the beginning of this war. That regime is in danger of collapse. There's video footage, folks, of regime members and their families fleeing to the airport to get out of that country. Even though Iran's airspace is closed to its public, they've allowed planes to leave with regime members fleeing to Moscow, okay, or fleeing to elsewhere. Most of them are believed to be fleeing to Moscow. There's all sorts of signs that that regime is starting to fracture. And again, this is owing to the pressure that Israel's been putting on them for the last couple days, taking out, I told you in an earlier video that Israel took out 20 of their top commanders. It's now been upgraded to estimates of 30. 30 of their best people, their most senior commanders, and Israel's even taken out some of the replacements of those commanders. Israel's doing a phenomenal job. The only thing that Israel is not doing yet, and I'm not sure can, as you know, is to take out the main nuclear underground facility called Fordo. For that, everybody believes it would require an American bunker-busting bomb to do. And that hasn't happened yet. And that may not happen. I think it would be a loss of a great opportunity to not put the final nail in the coffin of Iran's nuclear program, to let this whole war go by. But look, maybe Israel will succeed in its pressure between now and then to even have that regime fall, which in that case, it would render that Fordo thing now less important if the regime falls. So we'll see, okay? But that's my update for now. The theme of this update was unfortunately an unnecessary loss of life. It didn't need to happen, okay? I wish Israel would be a little bit more aggressive as it relates to the leader of Iran. I would like to see him I'll borrow a story from the Bible. If you remember when David in the Bible was on his deathbed, he tells his son Solomon, almost like Don Corleone, how to take care of certain people, who didn't serve David well, Solomon's father in his day. And concerning, I believe, the general Joab, in English, I think you call him Joab, David says to Solomon, Solomon, don't let him go down peacefully to the grave with his gray hair. In other words, take him out. Don't let him die peacefully as a gray-haired old man in his home. Well, the Ayatollah may be an elderly man with gray hair, but there's no reason for Israel to let him just go peacefully to his grave. I think, I wish Israel would take David's advice as it relates to the Ayatollah. And by the way, the Ayatollah's son is the one who would succeed him. So it may be time to take out both senior and junior. I believe that Israel should take care of these two with extreme prejudice. And that will be my last word in this update. It's a long update. This one went 11 minutes. Sorry for taking up that much time. This is Steve, the tour guide, signing off. Bye-bye.